So in addition to drawing parametric curves, we can also do some calculus with parametric curves. I think you might be able to figure out how you can find the velocity in the x direction and how you could find the velocity in the y direction. So in the x direction, we would take a derivative of the x equation and we'd say, oh, that's 2. In the y direction, we would take a derivative of the y equation and say, oh, well, that's 2. But I was a little bit lazy when I wrote x prime. X prime doesn't really tell exactly what that is. That's really dx dt. It's a change in x over a change in time, which would be the velocity in the x direction. And y prime is really dy dt. It's the change in the y direction over the change in time. So we are interested sometimes in the change in y and the change in x, but sometimes we're also interested in writing an equation for a tangent line to our curve. If we wanted to write an equation for a tangent line, we need a way of getting at the slope of the tangent line. And slope is not dx dt or dy dt. Slope is dy dx. The way we get dy dx, maybe you can kind of see how algebraically your dt's could drop out. The way you're going to get dy dx is you take dy dt divided by dx dt. Then you can kind of visualize your dt's cancel out and you get dy dx. So this is how you find slope of the path for a parametric set of equations. So let's say I would like to write the equation for the tangent line at t equals 1. So if I'm writing an equation for a tangent line, I always need 3 things. I need an x-coordinate. So x would be 1 squared minus 1. So x would be 0. I also need a y-coordinate. Y would be 2 times 1. So y would be 2. And I need a slope. And slope is going to be dy dx. And slope would be dy dt, which is 2, divided by 2t, but t is equal to 1, so 2 times 1. So our slope at this point is going to be 1. And now we can write an equation for a tangent line. Y equals 1 times x minus 0 less 2. So that's the first big idea of parametrics. It's a little bit more complicated to find the slope. You have to take the dy dt divided by dx dt to find the slope of a parametric path. But you can also talk about velocity in the x direction and velocity in the y direction.